What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you all are doing well. I hope you had a very Merry Christmas, and I hope you had a Happy New Year. So in today's video, I just wanted to talk about a cinema camera by definition, and also has the features built in to warrant calling it a cinema camera that you should consider now and in 2024. And this camera I have seen for the likes of $13.99, $14.99, anywhere around that price point. Not necessarily brand new, but in excellent like new condition. And it's a camera that I'm sure you've heard of before, but I've enjoyed using this camera for the past few months versus, my Sony a7 IV, which I'm recording on now. Excellent camera. But this camera gives you that cinema feel. It gives you those cinema features. It definitely puts out an image quality that can rival any camera that's 3 or 4 times as much money. So if you're an aspiring filmmaker or you're looking to get into video production, definitely consider this camera. And the camera that I'm talking about is the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 6K G2.
You said it? He said it.
And that's the camera that we're going to go over today. I'm not going to run down a bunch of specs and stuff like that, but I am going to sit here and build out my rig and basically tell you why I chose these components, what they do functionality wise, and why I find them incredibly useful. And that's the whole reason why I'm using them on this rig. Now, full disclosure, pretty much all these products that you will see here and that are mentioned here was sent to me by the manufacturers, with the exception of 3 different products. And I'll point those products out. So let's just start off with the camera, of course, which is the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 6K G2. And currently I have the DZO film 20-55 lens on here. Now, not only did Blackmagic send me the camera, but DZO Film sent me these lenses as well. And I say these lenses because I have the 12-25, the 20-55, and the 50-125. Super grateful for these manufacturers and these vendors for sending out their products. Basically, they're sending them out so that I can review them, show them the rig that I was building, and use them with 2 passion projects upcoming that I am doing in the form of short films. So we got the Blackmagic here, we got this lens already mounted on here, and let's start with the next thing, which is the cage. Condor Blue, awesome company. Very, very grateful that they decided to send me the cage, because as you know, with these cameras, the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 6K G2, you have to rig them out. I mean, basically, if you want a professional looking rig and you want a rig that's going to serve your needs on set all day, whether it's filmmaking or just video production in general, you need to have a cage so you can attach all your components and all your accessories to your rig. So let's go ahead and start there. And what I really love about this cage is all the mounting holes that it has on it is really nice. I mean, you got 3/8, 5/8 quarters, all that good stuff, area locating, mounts. And it also has an HDMI clamp for your cable, as well as your USB-C if you're running an external hard drive on here like I am. That's what I record to typically. I don't use the internal media just because SSDs, Samsung T5 or T7 are super cheap, super affordable, and you get more storage for the price. So let's start there. And what I like about this as well is that it has 2 mounting points. Basically, when I say mounting points, mounting thread screws on the bottom, and that keeps the camera nice and secure and not twisting around in the cage. So I'm going to start with the top one here, and I'm not going to basically put it in as far as like really tight or anything like that, because I want to be able to line up the ones on the bottom. So yeah, Condor Blue has been making, cages and accessories for cameras for quite some time now. And this one that they have with the Blackmagic is definitely one that I consider really nice. I mean, you will not run out of places to mount your accessories to. And then again, the 2 screws go in the bottom. And that just prevents the cage from twisting around and stuff like that. And the tool that I'm using to do this is the Small Rig Multi-Tool. So, oops, that probably is not a good thing to bang it. All right, so now that we got 2 screws in the bottom, we can go ahead and tighten the one up in the top. This tool is nifty, but I wish they made the components on it just a little bit longer. Sometimes They're too short for certain applications, so stuff bumps into the actual tool itself, and it makes it a little bit harder to screw things in, if you will. I don't know why that's slipping, but let's go ahead and tighten that one up. All right, so now that that's tightened up, we're good to go there. Condor Blue handle, and this is a nice little handle, kind of a NATO rail setup. NATO is kind of already built into, not kind of, it is already built into this cage. So that's pretty nice. All you need to do is slide that on. And what I like about this handle too, it has these mounting points on the top as well if you want to mount anything on the top of the handle. So that's really convenient. It has 4 of those. Also has a record, start, stop button on there. So that works with a lot of different cameras via cable. Just push that down, and then we'll just tighten that up, and then we're good to go. If you want to run it like that, you can. You know, obviously the battery life in these things, as you know, even with the NPF style Sony batteries, is not that great. If you're shooting in 4K or 6K, you may get anywhere between 25 to 40 minutes worth of record time on the battery. So that's the whole purpose of rigging up this thing. So what do we start with next? Let's go ahead and start with the base plate. And the base plate is a small rig base plate. And the reason why I like this base plate is because it's really simple, it's really small, it's not huge, so it does have a nice small little footprint. So we'll go ahead and turn this over, and probably should have done that first. Let me put the base plate on first, and then we'll save the handle until we get to that point. Just makes it a little bit easier, possibly, because that way we don't have to worry about the handle. And we'll just use our multi-tool here, basically the flathead tripod screw, and we'll go ahead and line those up. Next, we'll start with the rails, which happens to be small rig rails. And the reason why I'm using different components, guys, is because Condor Blue just sent me the cage and the handle, and also a couple of cables for the SSD, as well as the power to DTAP cable for this camera. So that's why I'm using these parts here from Small Rig. When I build out my other Blackmagic camera, I definitely will try to get all Condor Blue parts again. So I'm gonna just do it this way. So there it is with the base plate and the rods put on there. And the only thing I'd have to say about the Blackmagic is I wish and hope that they eventually come out with a box style camera. I think they would absolutely kill the game if they came out with one of those. Just because of the simple fact of the form factor, it would be better, especially with longer lenses like this DZO lenses that I have on here. But in any event, we shall see how that happens. So now I think we're okay to go ahead and put the handle back on, and then just tighten that down. There we are. So far, so good. Alrighty, so next, let's talk about power. I think we need to talk about powering the whole rig. So what I have here is a First Power Pro 180 watt hour battery, and basically I can power the camera and the big monitor that I'm going to use, monitor/recorder, that I'm going to use on this battery for, I think the longest I've ever went on it is about 4 hours. But this battery is super cheap. It's only like $110 for a 180 watt hour battery. And what I like about the battery is it has 2 DTAP ports, has a USB port on the top and a USB-C port on the top, which happens to be 60 watt power delivery. So if you're not using it for this type of rig or setup, then it pretty much will work as a V-mount battery solution for any type of rig or setup. So that's the battery we're going to be using on this camera. Next, I had a small rig V-mount plate. It's not one that's like super huge or anything, or has the power ports on it and everything, but I can't seem to locate that. So I got this one from Amazon. It's a newer one. I think it was about $40. But what I like about this one, it's not just a plate that stands completely up. It actually will adjust angle. So you can adjust it to whatever angle that you want. So if you want to tilt it up, tilt it down, whatever the case may be, it is adjustable. So I leave it basically standing up. Sometimes if I need to access the screen back here, then I will tilt it however I need to. Put this on, and this is going to go on the rails here in the back. So we'll move the battery out the way for a second. And maybe this needs to be loosened. Okay, so there we go. Slide that on there. And then just tilt it back that way. And then I usually like to leave enough room for my screen to come out if I need to, even though I'm going to be using a different monitor. So I'll just tighten it up there, lever in the back so the plate doesn't move from the heavy battery and it doesn't tilt forward or backwards if I don't want it to. Okay, and then we'll just slap the battery on there and then that's good to go. All right, so let's talk about maybe a side handle, huh? So side handle I'm using is basically this little small one, this RE Rosette adapter from Nicey Rig. And basically it comes with a little adapter here that goes into the side. And what you have to do is put this in first, then put in the adapter so you can put your RE Rosette style handle in there. So that's what we're gonna do now. And I'm doing it on this side. I like to be left-handed with it, so you guys really can't see it, but I'll spin it around when I'm done. The camera, let's talk about the camera a little bit. I love this camera. It has all kind of features. I mean, it has variable frame rates. It has Blackmagic RAW, which is the highlight of the camera. So you can have a lot of latitude to play with in post if you underexposed or overexposed. The codec is beautiful. Being able to have so much latitude with the color grading is just awesome because, as you know, and as you've seen from clips that I've shown in the video so far, it's beautiful imagery. Just the image that comes out of this camera looks so filmic, and it doesn't require a lot of work to make it look that way. Bottom line is it has features like, shutter angle. It has a nice built-in screen, which most cameras come with a little tiny screen, as you know. The screen resolution and the nits, as far as the brightness of it, is really nice. The menu interface is super duper functional, and I just can't say enough good things about it. It's just an awesome camera. And I think if you're picking up a camera for any sort of video production, it doesn't have to be a movie or short film, but for like documentary work, narrative work, video production in general. I mean, I have used this camera for those type of works. And then also I have used it for even weddings, just filming like the ceremony or say, for instance, the reception or something like that. I mean, it just works and it gives you that real nice filmic look. So definitely, I would say consider it. Now, here is the Nitsy little side handle here. And like I said, you will need the RE Rosette type of adapter from Nicey Rig. And don't worry, guys, I'm going to link everything below in the description, so you guys can definitely check out these items. Cool thing about the Nitsy handle as well, it has an RE Rosette type of mounting on it as well. And then also it has basically a cold shoe, I believe is what it's called, because it has no electronics, right? Anyways, a shoe adapter on the handle itself. And then it also has some mounting points as well, as far as threaded mounting points there. And there it is with the handle. So coming to be a nice little setup already, right? So tuck it in to your shoulder. So you got 3 points of contact: hand, handle, shoulder, and just, do the rig that way. That's how I do it until I get a easy rig type of setup, so I can get more stabilization and hook it to the handle and take the weight off my arms and my body. All right, so next let's talk about the monitor. So first, before we can do the monitor, I have this RE locating type of small rig articulating arm mount. So essentially what I do is I just put it right on the front here, because that is the type of mount that is on this Condor Blue cage handle. And then that just screws in like so. And always remember, guys, with any sort of twist, lock, RE Rosette type of system, make sure you tighten it down. And just once you got it thumb screwed in or hand screwed in, just tighten it down so that way it doesn't twist or move anything like that. And the reason why I'm using this articulating arm is because it is super heavy duty. It will accept a lot of weight pressure put on it, and because the monitor that I'm using, which is the Atomos new Shogun / Shogun Ultra, this is the Shogun model, does 6K versus 8K input. This thing is heavy. I don't usually run an FPF style battery on the back of it like it can accept, but I do have the cable, the DTAP to NPF dummy battery cable. Actually, this one comes with a USB-C to DTAP dummy, so you can actually, if you don't want to use Sony NPF batteries, or if you don't want to use maybe a dummy NPF battery to DTAP cable that you have now, you can use the USB-C power delivery and it will power this monitor. So what I'll do is go ahead and screw that on there. And yes, it kind of looks ridiculous, but it is what it is. I love this monitor. I did a video on it about this being the best monitor I've ever used and one that you should consider. Special thanks to Atomos for sending me this monitor. I love it. Besides it doing, just being a great monitor, 7 inches, HDR. It's also a recorder with all different types of flavors of codecs, and it also does live streaming as well, hence the antennas. I'm going to do a deep dive besides the video that I did about it on my channel, so that way you guys can basically know a lot more. Going to do basically a step-by-step of all the features in it. But yeah, that's the monitor that goes on top, the Atomos Shogun 7. And as you can see, doesn't move. I love this arm. It is a little bit expensive at about $30, but it is literally the best arm that you can use for a monitor, in my opinion, on the market. And there's various other manufacturers that make it. But again, a lot of small rig items because didn't get everything that I needed from Condor Blue, but I am appreciative of Condor Blue for sending me what they did. So, and if you have different products already working around and sitting around that work for you as far as mounting accessories, then just use those. But this is the stuff I use because I don't have to worry about it flexing, bending, untwisting. You want a sturdy rig, especially when you have all these components on it. So next thing up is the matte box, because obviously we don't have built-in NDs into this camera like the Blackmagic 6K Pro. And in this instance, I'm doing the Polar Pro Stage 2 Variable ND Kit. So we'll just slide that right on there. And then we'll just tighten it. Well, actually, before we do that, we got some other stuff we got to do. So lens support, that's important. But before we do the lens support, we're going to put on how we're going to focus the lens. And that is going to be with the Tilta new Nucleus Nano 2. And I got this kit not too long ago, was just using a hand manual follow focus, but I wanted to get something that so I could use a little bit easier on the side of the cage there with my other hand while I'm gripping the whole rig, or if I have a first AC on set that doesn't necessarily have an electronic follow focus, they can use this remotely, and then that way they can control focus for me. So I have a 2-motor kit here that I got for it. So I'm going to start on this side with the focus motor. So there you go. That's on that side. And then I will do the other motor. These motors is that you can actually twist the knob on the side to make sure that it is properly lined up with the focus gears. All right, so both of those are done. So what we'll do now is we'll simply just clamp on, and I haven't really found a good spot to clamp this on. I basically can go on a NATO rail, and obviously there's ones on each side of this cage, but I haven't found like a really good spot, I would say, yet for it. So I'm just keeping the hand wheel on this side for now. So there we are. So the hand wheel's there, and I can still hold the camera like this and rack focus or best with my zoom if I please. Now we can do the small rig, basically lens support. Relatively inexpensive. I think it's only like $20 or so. And I don't like the fact that basically this bottom part here is sticking out. So essentially I need a riser to make the camera come up more, but at least the lens supported and it doesn't put much stress on the lens mount itself. All right, so we got that done. I don't use the SSDs when I'm using this camera with the Atomos Shogun, but we'll just pop it in there anyways, just in case. And now we got our SSD. So the only good spot that I have found to really mount this SSD is up top here. And if you guys have any suggestions on where, mounting it on the bottom makes it unbalanced somewhat. Also on the side there, I don't really have any room on the side to do so. So I just mount it up top here. It's not in the way. It's right below the handle, and I don't find that it gets in my way. So where it's at is a-okay with me. So I'll just mount that, and that's how I record everything. So there we go. That's up top, and that's also by Small Rig as well. And really not a whole lot more to go with. Besides just, wiring it up and powering everything. So now we can actually slap on the matte box, which is by Polar Pro again. It's the VND, and right now I have the VND 2 to 5 stop in it and the polarizer. The kit came with 2 to 5 stop, 6 to 9 stop VND, also those versions in mist, a gold morphic filter, as well as the CPL filter, the circular polarizer, and then also comes with a carbon fiber flag. So if you need to flag off any light or sunlight or flares and stuff like that, then you certainly can do so. So yeah, that's pretty much the rig. And from there, you just need to power everything up. And again, I just use the dummy NPF battery that comes with the Ninja products, but it also comes with the dummy NPF to USB-C cable. So if you have a USB-C power delivery, you can do that. And please don't judge me about cable management. It's not the best, but it works. So, and I will plug that into this side DTAP. And then we got the Condor Blue cable here, which is DTAP to this Limo from Condor. And then I just wrap that around the side handle here once, and then I can plug it right into this other side of the battery with its DTAP. And then from there, you just got your HDMI cable, which again, really nice feature that the clamp is built into the cage itself. And then we got a USB-C cable for the hard drive. Just plug that in, wrap it around this handle here, and then we just slide it into the USB-C port of the Blackmagic. And then once you're all done with your cables, just go ahead and tighten up this little screw in the back, which will then compress onto your cable heads, and that way you don't have to worry about them coming out. So yeah, that's the rig, guys. What do you think? It's a complete setup, and I absolutely love it. Matte box is on there, a little crooked, so I'll just adjust that. And here we go. Beautiful rig, in my opinion. Maybe a little sloppy with the cables, but hey, like I said, don't judge me. And if you're considering getting a cinema camera, this is a fairly easy setup and not too costly. Again, the Blackmagic cameras can be had for as cheap as $1,400. And if you know anything about these cameras in the least bit, you know that the quality is amazing. So special thanks to Blackmagic for sending the camera out. It all starts there, and that's how I was able to build this rig. Special thank you to all the other manufacturers that I mentioned. They allowed this rig to happen, and this is the rig that I'm going to use for my passion projects. 2 short films. Keep talking about it. But as you know, life gets in the way. Then we have holidays and stuff like that. So hopefully in the new year, I can make this happen with this rig. So I hope that this rig inspires you. Again, all the parts will be listed down below in the description, and you should check this out. I mean, this whole rig, if I had to put, an estimate on it, again, you don't need this monitor because this monitor is super expensive. You can get a different monitor if you like. If you already have a monitor, you can use it, but this has a monitor built in. So essentially the camera, the cage, and the handle, I would definitely recommend. The rails, the base plate, and the V-mount battery plate, all for pretty much under $100, plus the battery itself was only like 100 or 110, I can't remember. Focusing, You can focus with just your hands on the lenses. You don't necessarily need this lens, even though it is an awesome lens. Really good look that comes out of these lenses, excuse me. If you have an EF lens, obviously this is an EF mount, you can start there. But, you know, if you want to inspire to have a fully functional rig that is going to pretty much work for you in any application, then this is the rig that I have, and this is the rig that I recommend. So let's breathe life back into this camera. It's an awesome camera for $1,400 to $1,500, used like new, or for brand new. I think it's still going for around $18.99, $19.99 maybe. It's an excellent choice for cinema cameras because it has the RAW codecs, it has 4K, 6K, anamorphic modes, B-RAW, so you have plenty of latitude for color grading, and just a slew of other features built in like false color, shutter angle, and there's other cameras out there that may be cinema-like, but they don't even have those features. And I'm even speaking of Sony stuff because I love Sony stuff, but like the FX30, the FX3, it does not have shutter angle. It doesn't have built-in false color. Focus speaking, sure. Anamorphic modes, not as many as this one. So again, for the price point, it is an excellent camera. The Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera G2. It's timeless. It's still great for this year and for next year and beyond. So if you're thinking about a cinema camera, consider this one. Tremendous value for what you're getting. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing if you got any value out of this video. If you're already subscribed and you came back, thank you so much. I appreciate you for being a member, basically a viewer, whatever you want to be. If you're checking out my content, I consider you a member of this channel, and I greatly appreciate it. So let me know what you guys think about this particular rig in the comments below, and I hope that everyone has a fantastic new year. Let's crush our goals in 2024. Look ahead, let's be creative, and until next time, be safe, be kind, and take care of each other.